Erica Lynn Speaks podcast is a place where you can grow beyond your limitations and make an impact on the world. I am Erica Lynn. I will teach you how to take the restraints off of you, begin to live free, and become unstoppable. Go to ericalynnspeaks.com.
I say Erica Lynn Speaks. Erica Lynn Speaks.
Hello. This is your girl, Erica Lynn, and welcome back to another wonderful episode of Erica Lynn Speaks podcast. Y'all know we like to play big or go home. If y'all ain't ready to play big, then y'all are not ready to come and be with me, Erica Lynn Speaks. I'm so excited. It's Friday. Yeah, it's raining, but so what? Y'all can make the best out of y'all Friday. Anyway, before we get started, make sure you share this podcast with everybody that you know, because if you don't share this podcast, how are they gonna know what that I'm here? How are they going to get some of what you're getting every Friday, right? Because we always bring it big. We always bring it bad. And let me tell you, every Friday, you guys know it has been getting better and better and better each Friday, right? Because that's just the laws of the land. I'm always ready to up my game, do better than I did last week. And although I love all of my guests, they are wonderful. So no shade to my guests. Y'all know I love y'all, because without y'all, there is no me. However, it is my given duty to always bring you new content so that you can utilize the content that we have on the podcast in your everyday life, right? You guys know when I'm bringing you something, is you're able to take that information, leave that podcast, and go and implement it in something that's going on in your life so that you can play big, right? How can I ask you to play big if I'm not giving you the tools and the techniques to play big, right? So I'm excited, you guys. And the reason why I'm excited, because my guest on today's podcast, man, he gonna give it to you straight. So if you're messing up on your bills, if you're messing up in your life, you can't get your hair done, ladies, you can't go get your nails done every week like I do, or if you just are struggling from check to check, or you struggling, let me tell you, because when you're struggling from check to check, that messes with your mind, right? Because y'all know everything that we talk about, we try to help you keep your mind right, your soul right, and when your money ain't right, that mess up my mind, my body, my soul. I don't know. I just can't think. I just be so discombobulated because I'm like, where is the money? I can't figure it all out. Well, anyway, I'm not gonna keep y'all waiting. Let me tell you, I have somebody that's coming on here next, and he's gonna help you with all of that. Because I don't want y'all falling all out saying, Erica, I can't watch you no more because my internet ain't on. I couldn't afford to pay my internet bill. So at the very least, he's going to help you, show you how to keep your internet bill paid every week. So let me just bring on, because I can keep going on. I want to bring on Dexter Jenkins. He is a faith-based man, right? That is just going to give it to you straight. And we're going to talk about finances today. And y'all know I always got to be transparent. And I put mine right on the table too, right? Because how can y'all know if we don't all share? So anyway, without further ado, I want you guys to put your hands together and join me in welcoming Dexter B. Jenkins. Hello, Dexter.
Hello, Erica. How are you?
I am wonderful. Thank you for coming on Erica Lynn Speaks podcast. I always got to be silly. That's just not me if I'm not silly.
Well, I like to laugh too, so we're going to have a good time.
Yes, that's good. Because let me tell you, after I was telling them, when you can't get your hair done, you can't get your nails done, I don't be smiling that much.
Yeah. Got to keep it tight, right?
Absolutely. So, I want everybody to know a little bit about you, give us a little bit of background about Dexter B. Jenkins so they know what they're about to get into today on this podcast.
Okay. Well, first of all, thank you for having me come on your show. I'm excited about it. As we were talking about backstage, I know you, but really don't know you because I've been working through Pam Perry, and she's been talking a lot about you and all that. So it's almost like we met before we met. So I'm excited about being with you as well as your audience today. But, my name is Dexter B. Jenkins, and I call myself a faith-based financial mentor, which simply means that I allow you to bring your faith into your business life, your money life, and your success life. Because a lot of times what I find, Erica, is that we've been taught to have to separate them. And my crew and people who flow with me are people who have their faith at their core, but then they recognize those other areas are extremely important as well. And so my background is I spent 20 years in the financial services industry, selling life insurance, mutual funds, things of that nature, helping people get out of debt. And then my wife and I, in the year 2012, we started our church. And then I'm also a real estate entrepreneur. And so, I do a lot of different things, but most of them focus around helping you develop spiritually and also helping you develop financially.
Okay. And so, I'm just going to say it like this, right? When everybody is going through something financially, we are taught to lean on God.
Yes.
And so, however, even though we're taught to lean on God, God can't necessarily solve all your problems right then in that moment. Right. And I say that because he give you all of the tools that you need prior, right? So he's given you the things that you needed to do. It was like you just didn't do them when you were supposed to do them, or do them the way you were supposed to do them. So when your head is up against the wall, you're like, oh God, save me, help me, pay my bill, pay my electric bill, Lord. They about to come and kick me out my house. So what do you say about people who are in that situation?
Well, I think it's a balance. I think there are some very basic things that the Bible or God talks to us about doing, because you have to remember everything is supernatural. So there's a super side, which is his side, but then there's what? A natural side, meaning there are things that you and I have to do. And part of what I always try to do, whether I'm talking to my congregation or talking to people one-on-one, is recognize that there's some things that you need to learn about finances and learn about money that for the most part we weren't taught. And so now we become adults, and now you having to deal with bills, and you go to college, and then my first credit card was I was walking through my dorm room, my quad, and next thing you know, they say, hey, come get some t-shirts, and then I got a credit card with that t-shirt. And so that began my financial education, but it was never like anyone sat me down and said, these are things that you need to begin to do. And so I think the more that we can get the education that we can do, and then match it with some things we're talking about on the God side, now we're cooking with grease.
Yeah. And let me tell you why I always think about the story that my pastor would tell in church. And I don't remember the key players in the story, but he would talk about how when the land had flooded, right? And the guy went to the roof and he said, well, God said he's going to save you, right? And so so he sends somebody over in the boat. And he says, no, I'm not getting on the boat because God is going to save me. Then he sends somebody in the helicopter. He said he don't get on the helicopter because he said God is going to save me. And I forgot who the third person was. But then the house is completely covered in water and the guy is drowning and he's passing. Right. And he's saying to God, I thought you said he was going to save you. And he said, well, God said, I sent you a boat. I sent you a helicopter, but you chose not to take that lifeline so that you could live a life. And so that's one of the things that I think about when I made that statement earlier. He's given you the lifeline that you need to be on a great financial path. But it's if you choose to take that advice or use the things that God had provided for you previously before your head hits the wall.
Yeah. Well, I think a couple of things that a lot of times we don't value the small things that are given to us, and because a lot of times we're expecting this big voila to happen in our lives. And what I found is that most of the things that people who are successful, whether it's financially or anything you're talking about, it's what we do on a daily basis or a weekly basis or a monthly basis, which causes us to succeed. And a lot of times we blow that off and then we're expecting this big miracle. Now, obviously God is a God of miracles, but oftentimes he speaks in the day-to-day things that we don't take advantage of. And so I'm always on that thing of what are you doing today? Then very much like you were saying, implementing things. Okay, if I'm getting information today, what am I doing what am I doing with the information that I can implement it? Because if I don't implement it, it's good head knowledge, but it doesn't bring me any fruit.
Yes. So today we're going to talk about wealth, generational wealth, right? Bringing face-based wealth, street wealth. I don't care. You can put whatever name you want to put on it. But who or what inspired you to teach about wealth?
Well, I grew up around, as I was reading the question that we were going to talk about. My dad was an entrepreneur. He owns real estate, which he still does, and he's a barber. And so, and if I look at my family, just my uncles and all that, our family has always been very entrepreneurial, and so I've always been in the middle of it. And then, as I begin to look around me and begin to see that that's not the norm, I wanted to begin to share what I learned growing up. And then also, as I got, and like I said, into the financial services industry, I really got motivated because I look at our people, and I'm talking people of color right now, but not that it doesn't apply to everybody else. And I recognize there's some things that we need to come up in, and one of them is financially. And so, as I've learned, I like to teach.
Yeah. Well, that's good. That's good. I've gotten that way in my older age.
Right.
But when I was younger, I was not that way. I was just kind of like all over the place. And it's just amazing to me that because I was a woman that was all over the place, God finally took me and set me down and said, now you was all over the place. You learned all the things that I needed you to learn. Now I need you to take all of that information and share it with everyone. And so even my own children, they be in the studio or other parts of the house. Mama, I listen to you talk to clients. Now I'm going to grow my business, and now I'm going to work hard at doing what I want to do. And so that's great that you are being able to teach and share with others, because everybody needs some type of help when it comes to finances or balancing or just learning how to live beyond paycheck to paycheck.
Exactly.
And what would you say? Like 75% Americans are paycheck to paycheck?
I mean, I don't know what the numbers are, but I just when you begin to look at and you hear people talk, people are I'll say like this, Erica, there are a great number of people who are struggling, but then there are a great amount of people who are also doing well. And so I think when you begin to look at what are the principles that one group is using and what are the principles that another group isn't using, and so that's what I've always tried to do, is really marry the two. Okay, because it's not like, to your earlier point, it's not like it's information that we can't get anymore. It's just that sometimes there are other factors that's going on, which is really your ministry is talking about, dealing with the emotional healing side of things. Because sometimes, money becomes a therapist for us. Or I'm not feeling well, I go spend it on doing this, or I go spend it on that. And it's like, well, that's not what that's for. You need to either get a therapist, or as we're faith people, so we go to God with things. But because I'm mad at my boyfriend or my girlfriend, I go spend my checkup. Well, that's probably not the best thing for you to do.
That's funny that you said that, right? I had a birthday a couple of years ago, and a friend of mine and I, we were going to Niagara Falls, and he was going to treat me to Niagara Falls. But we were just friends. It wasn't my boyfriend, so I could do what I want to do. Okay. Right. And so the day before we were supposed to go, I had some other company because he wasn't my boyfriend, so I was still. And so he did what is called a pop-up. And nobody told him he could pop up. I've never gave him permission to pop up. So anyway, when he popped up and he says, I saw this Cadillac outside your house. And I was like, that wasn't in front of my house. That was the neighbor's house. Okay, I was lying. So now, but anyway, so the next day I'm calling him because I'm packed, I'm ready to go, and he wouldn't answer. So by the time he finally answered, it probably was like about 3:00 in the afternoon. I'm like, okay, let's go. And when we got ready to go, he was like, well, I got upset. So I went to casino and spent all my money last night. So I only have X amount of dollars, and we on our way out of town on the trip. Oh, that didn't work out too well in my favor. But just because the point is because you mad at me because I hurt your feelings. Yeah, you go spend all your money.
Well, because think about it, and we talked about it in our notes, is that money takes on the character of who has it, and it takes on the mood of who has it. Yeah. So if you're mad, I'm gonna go spend. I'm gonna go blow my whole check. I'm just like you said. Well, that made no sense because that messed up what we were trying to do long term. And so, just getting people to think strategically and long term. Because if you don't tell your money what to do, it will just end up wherever. Things have changed now. But if you remember back in the day when we used to cash our check physically. Yeah. And you will go to the bank and cash it. And then next thing you know, because you didn't have a plan with it, you're like, well, I went over here, ate, and then I did this. And you're like, well, I got paid $400, $500, but only got X amount of dollars. Where did it go? Well, it went that way. You didn't tell it. You didn't give it any instructions. So money has to be directed and told what to do.
So because you said that, and I know we ain't going through our, the questions I sent you, but you just, I know quite a few people.
Right.
We already know what you're going to get paid on Friday, right? Because most people work an average of 40 hours. Even if you get a little bit of overtime, your check still ain't that much more than what it's going to be. So you have X amount of bills allocated to come out of that check. But when you get paid on Friday, and by the time Saturday morning come, and you only got like $5 or $10, how can you have generational wealth? First question is, how can you tell your mind to fathom past that? Because all of the bills came out of that. It's not really like you blew it. And if you bought something nice for yourself, you deserved it, God doggone it, because you worked hard enough. Like, at least let me get one fingernail of something. You know what I'm saying? So how do you talk to your money in that instance?
Well, think about this. You're a coach, and so you think about when you begin to coach people, you begin to have these things called goals, right?
Yeah.
And so now when I have goals, it causes me to make decisions in line with my goals. Yeah. So sometimes there are two basic ways that you can improve your finances. That hopefully our audience is listening to this. Is either you can increase your income or decrease your expenses. That's it. I don't care. Whoever you listen to, that's all they'll say. If you want to improve your finances, I got to either increase my income or decrease my expenses. And really, you want to be in the middle of always doing both, because decreasing your expenses mean sometimes I'm decreasing waste, because all of us, I don't care how tight we are, we waste money. But then, there are things that we can do if my mind is magnetized in that fashion to be able to want to make more money. And so that's what you have to do. So to answer your question is, when I begin to give my money these goals and say, these are things I'm trying to do, now I begin to make decisions in line with that.
So you see, I had to type it. That's what I was doing. So you said you either increase your income
or decrease your expenses. Now check this out, Erica. That's the nugget of the day.
Yeah.
If you learn to do those two things right, I don't care what anybody tell you. If I can increase my income or decrease my expense, or you're going to be trying to do both anyway.
Right.
That's why people should have tuned in today, to get that nugget right there.
So I got to give a real life example from that statement. We can talk about the decrease your expenses, meaning let's take away that cable bill, right? So instead of having all of the channels, because Comcast, they get you got to have cable, the cable, the internet, and the phone in order to get a discount.
Right.
But we don't even use the house phone no more. So if you take away the house phone and now you get the cable or the internet, you're still paying less money, right? Because all three is $100. Right. And then you say, well, if you only get two, it's $80. But if you get all three, it's $100. And in your mind, you're saying, I'm only paying $20 more. Right. But you're saying you're actually saving $20.
And now the key is, what do I do with the 20? Do I let that slide out and not do, or do I tell it what to do? So now either I'm putting it on, so if I have a game plan, one thing I talk about in this book that I wrote called Getting Your Money Straight and Building Wealth. It's probably hard to see, but you can get on Amazon, Getting Your Money Straight and Building Wealth. One of the things I talk about is this thing called a spending plan. And now most people call it a budget. I call it a spending plan, because a spending plan, I believe, gives you more, you feel like you're more in control, and you're directing your money. But now if I have a spending plan, I've saved $20, okay, but I'm not just going to let that money just float out there. I'm directing that somewhere. So either I'm directing it into maybe my savings, or I'm directing it into maybe doing some of the things that we're talking about doing, learning how to increase my income. But that's one of the big mistakes people make. Okay, I've saved some money, but then they don't allocate it anywhere. And so when I save money, what I want to do, but then also if I make more money, what am I going to do with it?
Yeah.
And that's critical, And so It all comes back to this me having some sort of game plan as to you're a coach, game plan as to where I'm going and what I'm trying to do. And I think that's one of the biggest mistakes people make is that they don't do that. And then also like that, like you were saying, just feeling overwhelmed and having that mindset of I can't even think about the generational wealth because I'm struggling from day to day, And I think that what we have to do is recognize that there's a struggle, but then you also have to look at, okay, if I don't make some changes, I'm always going to be here. And so I've got to have an aha moment. I've got to have a come to Jesus moment, for lack of a better term, to be able to say, you know what? I remember hearing T.D. Jakes said it some years ago. He said, I decided I wasn't going to be broke no more. And then that set him on the path of some things he's doing right now. And I think all of us have to do that. At some point, you got to decide, I'm not going to be broke no more. I ain't going to be sick no more. I ain't going to be depressed no more. And when I do that, then the mechanisms and God begins to show me what to do and all that once I make the decision, And so that's part of it. Deciding that, hey, look, I may be, my life may be about to be cut off, or I may be in a certain, but I ain't going to be here forever.
Yeah. See, look, Dexter, you got them in the chat box. I've been popping up the chats because I hate waiting all the way to the end of the show and we going through them. But I always have to give all of our viewers a shout out. Hi, Sheila. And Sheila said to us, how you handle shows the type of person you are. So how you handle your money, yes, absolutely.
Sheila's correct because it's about your character. Money, as I said, money takes on the character of who has it, and so you think about, Mother Teresa, she gets $1 billion, she feeds people. Someone who is evil does something evil with it. And so that's why one of the biggest things I find with people is, particularly people of faith, is that they're conflicted as to whether they should even have it. And you got to break down that misconception or that lie in people's minds and recognize, hey, it's okay, long as it doesn't corrupt you. And if you're a good person and want to do good things with it, why not be aggressive in building wealth? And why not? Because I always think about building wealth as reaching your highest financial potential. You know what I mean? You think about a parent. You're a mom. I'm a dad. I want my children to excel in every area of their lives, including finances. And so that's why you want to be able to do that.
Right. Let's see what science says. Science says, tell your money what to do, direct your finances. And number 2, increase income or decrease spending. Okay. So she just reiterated what you said. Thank you.
Exactly.
Appreciate it. You typed it so much better than I did. And then Sheila says, step out and make changes to build a new legacy for you or your family. So I got to ask you, what is one of the biggest misconceptions about wealth, about building wealth?
Right. Well, to that point, I don't think there's one. I think it depends on the individual, because all of us have different. Because to me, a misconception is just a lie that you have in your head. And so it just depends on the person. So as I was saying, one could be one person. I'm not good at handling finances. Well, that's not true. You just haven't learned how to do it yet. Or if you come with some of the things of some of the areas that we come in, if you're a Bible believing person, they say, well, the love of money is the root of all evil. Well, it doesn't say that. It said the love of money. And so it really depends on where you are and, the lies that you have bought into about, money and building wealth and all that. Because really all of us, if you think about it, Erica, if you work from the time that you are, just say a teenager to the time you're in your 60s, you've made a lot of money. Yeah. The question is, what did you do with it?
Yeah, that's true. Look, you even got my daughter on here. Listen. She said, Lord knows I need this because I increased my income. And she need to increase her income and decrease her expenses. Yes. And we talking about a child that I sent overseas from the age of 16. So she's been making money early on in life. So she knows what it's like for everybody to say, I need. But at the same time, she needs to learn how to save and put up a nest egg for her future. So she can make the money. But like you said, what you do with the money that's a whole nother thing.
Because that's what generational wealth is all about. I'm not thinking about money just for me. I'm thinking about my children and my grandchildren. And so I've got to think generationally in every area of life, including my finances, And so making money, and and as you get older, stuff is just stuff.
Yeah.
You go to your closet, you got a closet full of clothes, closet for shoes, and after a while, it's like, okay, at some point, I have to be satisfied with what I have, but I want to recognize that the money that I'm making and the money that I have, I want it to have an impact long after I'm gone. Because that's what because your money can, if you do it right, money can help you leave a legacy, and that's what I'm after. When in particular, I'm talking to my men and my brothers who will be watching later. Ladies too.
Yeah.
We want to build a legacy. We want this world to know that we were here and we made an impact. Well, one of the ways that we can do that is if we are able to do things with our own money financially. But now, Erica, you're in a place where you can send other people's kids to college, and you can start foundations, and you really can be a blessing to people. Well, it takes money to do that.
Yes, absolutely. Because I do find myself helping a lot of people more now. Because in the beginning, we all had those small beginnings, right, where we were just barely eating, those small beginnings.
I'm surviving. I got to get mine. Yeah, that's that mentality. Yeah.
And when you first start out in business, you don't have money unless you was just blessed with startup money. But a lot of us didn't have money. And so I had a lot of people donate their services to me. Right. I mean, I got a lot of gifting in the beginning. I said, oh, Jesus, when I do get some money, I'm going to have to pay everybody back, even though they don't ask for anything. So then somebody has said to me, two people have said, my first coach has said, write down everybody's name that helped you along the way, so that when you get into that place, you can reach back and just say thank you or send a card. So what I've been doing in this season is every other week, I'll schedule a date and take somebody out to eat, and I'll treat, because I'm so used to somebody else pulling out the credit card and paying. So now I'm the first one to grab the bill. I got
now it's your turn.
Yes, it's my time. And so I thank God to be in that position.
Exactly. Well, I mean, but that's what we're talking. Why you need to build it, build wealth, because if you have it now, you can be a conduit of goodness and a conduit of blessings. You can step in and help somebody in their emergencies. I don't know how many times I've been in the supermarket and somebody didn't have money. I'm like, I got it. Can you help us out? And obviously you got to watch it, because some people, they keep coming back to you like they're on your payroll, and then you got to shut that down. But then, as God directs you and leads you, he may say, hey, I need you to do this. I mean, my wife and I, there have been times she said, yeah, I sent this person $500. I did that. I didn't even know she did it. But, God has spoken to her, or she felt that was a need, and she stepped in and did it, and so, but there were times when, hey, we had one car on the road. There were times when we had peanut butter and jelly sandwich. There were times we had beans and rice, but I never took the mentality that I would be here forever.
Yeah.
And that's what we're trying to get across to whoever may be watching now or watch later on. Listen, you're not going to be there forever. If you learn how to, get involved with some of the principles we're talking about today, and then begin to really apply yourself to what because it's just knowledge that you get. And then once you apply the knowledge, now the principles begin to kick in, and then now increase becomes your portion. And then you can go back and help somebody else.
Now, how many principles would you say that there is?
Well, I look at it because one of the questions we talked about was the SHIP method of building wealth. And I came with this. I mean, this is something I learned as I was reading through one of the best financial book that anybody can read is the Bible. Yeah. If you read the book of Proverbs and the book of Ecclesiastes, it has all type of financial information in that book. And so as I was reading through the Proverbs, I pulled out three things that I think that anybody can use that I call the SHIP method, SHIP, and it stands for stewardship, ownership, entrepreneurship. Oh. So stewardship, ownership, entrepreneurship. So stewardship.
If you're still listening, can you put that in the chat?
Put that in the chat for Erica.
Put that in the chat for everybody to see, Sonia. Thank you.
It's stewardship, ownership, and entrepreneurship. And if they go to DexterBJenkins.com, I have a book that called that's called 3 Ships of Wealth Building, and they put the information in there. They'll get that ebook. So if they go to dexterbjenkins.com, they can get that. But in stewardship, I just talk about, stewardship is basically how do I skillfully handle my finances. That's all that is. And then okay, now inside of stewardship, I have to learn how to do a spending plan, which you talked about. So that's stewardship. And then the next thing is what we call ownership. Well, what's ownership? Ownership is making sure that I buy things that have value, so I'm a real estate entrepreneur. So, I'm talking about properties, but there are also things that people do like you're doing, like royalties and books and all that. That would be, building of your asset base. And then the last thing is if you're brave enough to be an entrepreneur, because entrepreneurship it isn't for everybody. I think the first 2 are, and then, or even if you're an entrepreneur, maybe you're doing something on the side that works too. But I think entrepreneurship. So when you look at those 3, that's what I call them the ships, the 3 ships of wealth building. If you put those 3 things in place, you're on your way.
Yeah. Ooh. Yeah, that last one, huh? that last one.
Erica, the great thing about entrepreneurship is this. It puts you in control, and it allows you to get paid what you feel you're worth. You know what I mean? And so I think that's and most people have that independent, I can do better mentality. I think, particularly in our generation, that it's really that when this country was started on that, and then we sort of got into this corporate thing, but now it's going back to that where people want to, and I think really after COVID. People are really deciding, how do I want to make my money? How do I want to live my life? And so you're hearing more people looking to be entrepreneurs, and then particularly you sisters. Because I tell a woman every time, listen, most women handle everything within their household. So you're already running a business. You're just doing it for your family. So you're writing the checks. You're saying what's going on, so you're picking up and dropping off, so you're part of, so that's, that's transportation and logistics. And so you're over there talking about your baby. My baby's doing this. Well, that's marketing, and so we have all these, you're trying to get your kids to go to bed. That's sales, so you got all these different things going on. But now how can we direct it into a business? And I think part of your ministry and what you're doing and other people like you is you're getting people to see their value and then finding out who they are so that they can begin to market that.
Yeah. Okay. I like how you put that. Okay, so put that in the notes when we send it out. Lynn. I love it, right? Because the funny thing about me is, Dexter, I could talk, I can get on stage, I could woo a crowd. But when it comes to writing, that's my struggle, right. Content writing. And so that's why I had to hire the staff to help me take everything that's out here and put it on paper. And before I had all this wonderful staff, I used to just be like, because there was so many things in my head. And I believe that's what a lot of people go through. You have all these great ideas, all these visions, but you don't know how to transport it from here to here or to manifest it into a business. Exactly.
And that's where you need a coach, and I think a lot of time, and I don't know you like that. And we haven't had this conversation, but I know you had paid for coaching. Because I heard you say
I have 5 coaches.
Okay. You got 5 coaches. And so see, my background is that of a basketball player.
Okay.
So I played Division I basketball and coached and all that. So I recognize the importance of it. So you know what? The number one, and whoever writing notes can type this down. The number one investment you need to make is in your education.
Ooh, that's right.
Because people always ask me, where should I invest my money at? I'm like, you should invest it in you.
Yeah.
Because really, you're your best asset. Yeah. It's not a house. It's not a car. Well, a car's not a house. It's not a business. It's you. So when you invest in you and you get better at whatever you're trying to do, now you're more valuable, and so that's critical. That's the first. I mean, I'm like you. I've had coaches, invested in coaches as a pastor and pastoral coaching. Something I'm doing right now, PR. I'm tens of thousands of dollars I've spent in that. Now, your people may be saying, well, I don't have that amount of money. Well, okay, you may not have that, but you can buy a book. If you can't buy a book, you can go to the library. You know, if you got an internet, you can up and you need to consider. So nowadays there's really no excuses not to be able to get it. Now it's beginning. So it's just me having the willingness to do what I need to do.
Yeah. Now, and so we're gonna go back over those 3 steps again. Let me pull them back up. I gotta drive something home to somebody. Yes. Because if they didn't resonate with anything else, I need them to resonate with something so that if you're bad on finances, if you're living check to check, if you just can't figure out, there is steps to walk you through that process. And again, the last thing you said, and that's something that just you really just touched my soul. I'm not even gonna lie to you, right? You touched my soul because before this podcast came on, you know, we backstage and you see me pointing this way. I have other computers and stuff. Right. So I just made an investment in myself and something that I need to help teach me what I'm doing in this season. And I was going to buy it yesterday, but I was struggling with spending the money. Okay. I didn't want
to. Now go back to what you and I talked about offline.
Okay.
We're talking about, you know, it's price versus value. Okay, if I invest this money, what am I going to get out of it? So, okay, I buy this computer or I learn this skill. How much will it help me bring in?
Yeah.
So now it becomes not an expense; it becomes an investment.
Right.
And that's what we got to get people to see. Listen, so that's what I say. I'm investing in myself when I spend whatever. I don't care if it's a $20 book. Okay, I'm buying a $20 book. If I learn what I need to learn out of this book, it can help me do X, Y, and Z, bring me this. Well, it's not an expense now, it's an investment. And so that's the mind shift that we all have to make. That's the paradigm shift that we have to make.
Yeah, that's pretty powerful. And that's like you said, that's why we go to school to learn. And so when you invest in yourself, you're able to take those skills to the next level. And so exactly. I encourage everybody to invest in themselves. Pick up a book and read it. What's the name of your book, Dexter? So you guys can order Dexter's book.
It's called Getting Your Money Straight and Building Wealth. You can get it on Amazon. Also go to dexterbjenkins.com. And then you can get that ebook there that's called The 3 Ships of Wealth Building. And then, you know, if you go to my YouTube channel, I got some things there, you know, and so, you know, our goal really is to be able to help people become financially literate, because if you become financially literate, you can be financially intelligent, you know, and so that's the goal.
Yes, that is the goal. That is the goal, to become financially literate, so that you guys are no longer getting paid on Friday and not knowing where your money is going, not having a clue what you're going to do or how you're just going to make ends meet. Because right. I live that life and I refuse to live that life again. It is stressful. And I refuse to work 3 and 4 jobs again. That's just not something that I'm going to do, because I realize it aged my body, my mind, and everything. So if I invest in myself now and really developed and hone in on my skills, the Bible says your gifts will make room for you.
Proverbs 18:16.
Yes. So let's allow your gifts to make room for you, so that you can eat at the table with the rest of us, right? And if there's no room for you at our table, what you gonna do? Create your own seat at the table.
Buy your own table. You buy your own table and then you invite somebody else over to your table.
Absolutely. So I put your information up here again. So again, I want you to tell everybody, Dexter, how they can find you on all social medias, about your website, and you've already given us some good gems and jewels, but I need you to give us a great nugget that we can walk away when we get off this podcast. Dexter told me to do this, or he gave me this, and I'm doing it. And oh my God, that one tool is making an impact on my life.
Right. So you can find me. Go to dexterbjenkins.com. You can download the book there and all that. So go there. But then also Dexter B. Jenkins against across all the social media. So, you know, the YouTube, Facebooks, all that. You know, so you can find me on that. And I would love to connect with you, with your audience and, you know, be able to have a dialogue and all that. So make sure you do that. But then the biggest thing I want everyone to do, if you have a Bible, start reading the book of Proverbs every day. So there's 31 Proverbs. If you read one chapter a day, you will begin to get some great financial nuggets out of that. So you can it probably take you about 10 to 15 minutes to do it. You can start doing that tonight.
To read the book of Proverbs.
Yep. So let me clarify, Erica. Read one chapter in the book of Proverbs every day. So there's 31 chapters. You read one a day. And as you begin to read them over and over again, financial principles will begin to jump out at you about how to manage your money, how to stay out of debt, how to build business. All those principles will flow out of those two books, because I don't know if your audience knows it, but King Solomon, who was King David's son. I mean, most folk know King David more because David and Goliath, but Solomon was one of his sons, and he was the richest man who ever lived. And so if you want to take advice, you want to take advice from someone who's been there, done that, got the t-shirt. Well, that brother did it. And so as you're reading those Proverbs, you're getting wealth information, and it doesn't cost you much money to do that.
Yes. Look, you got first-hand chat notes today, Dexter. Sonya got you together today.
Thank you, Sonya.
You guys are together. I love it to death. I'm telling you, boy, without her, I wouldn't be here. So anyway, I think that is really, really wonderful. So I'm going to start reading the book of Proverbs starting today, because starting tonight after I come from the gym, because I'm going to normally I leave the podcast and I run to the nail shop, but he got me together last week. So this week, I'm going to go to the gym and I'm going to come at home and I'm going to start reading the book of Proverbs. And the reason why it blessed me is because there's areas in my life where I struggle too financially with everyone else. And after me going through this real rebuilding process, I had to file bankruptcy a couple years ago. Okay. So I went through the rebuilding process. Haven't stepped out there and really purchased anything yet, because I passed the 2-year mark, but not really comfortable yet, like just stick my toe in there, and not really ready yet. But I want, when I do step my toe in, my whole feet in there, I want to be equipped. I want to be literate. I want to have all the principles together. So at least when I'm making a decision, I'm making a decision and equipped with the knowledge and the answers, or the knowledge and the tools that I would need to make, a great decision. Exactly.
And that's the key, is literacy leads to intelligence, because if I'm literate, I know what I'm looking for, then I can make a great choice. And this life is choice driven.
Yeah. Science says, you're welcome. That's fantastic. I really appreciate this information that you gave us today, because it like I said, I know if it blessed me, it blessed so many others. You guys, I went to Dexter's YouTube channel. So your YouTube is Dexter B. Jenkins, right? So I went to Dexter's YouTube, and he had a video out there. It was only 6 minutes long, which I love it, because sometimes my attention span is that great. It was the 11 principles, right? 11 principles of wealth.
11 financial things you should do now.
Yes, 11 financial things that you should do now. And I listened to all 11. I was like, wow, because you started with God. Like, first you got to thank God, be, prayerful to God. But then when you went through the 11 principles, they were fantastic. And so I advise you guys to go to his YouTube channel and listen to the 11 principles. And perhaps, Dexter, you'll come back on the podcast and share the 11 principles with everybody.
I'm down for that. Let me know.
Okay, that's awesome. Look, we still got people coming in. Marva, she says, what did she say? Hello, everybody. The book of Proverbs gives us wisdom.
That's right.
And then Sonya, what did she say? Literacy leads to intelligence. Okay. And then Sheila says, great information. I am going to recommend you as a possible guest for another podcast. Okay, Dexter. Thank you. I love my see, when you come to Erica Lynn Speaks podcast, you're gonna walk away with something.
What That's what we talked about in the studio. You know, that we're making connections. You know what I mean? And so that's a blessing.
Absolutely, absolutely. And sometimes, you know, you meet one person and that one person can open up the doors. And because I remember my second coach, I couldn't afford his services, but he blessed me, right?
Right.
And he says, even though you couldn't afford to pay my services, you might in turn refer somebody to me.
Exactly.
Pay me twofold of what I would have charged.
Exactly.
Right. So I'm going to get my blessing back. And so in that next season, when I got on this podcast, I was always talking about him, referring to people. Even when I'm out in the streets, I'm referring people to him. So, you know, I want to be a blessing to those who were a blessing to me and to those who just was blessing me by even watching the podcast. I mean, that's a blessing enough. Like, you know.
Yeah, because you think about it, attention is precious, you know, and so I look at attention as if somebody takes a half hour, even 5 or 10 minutes to watch us, you know, that they can't get that 5 or 10 minutes back, and so that's valuable, and so that's why we have a responsibility. So when we open our mouths to have something to say that will bring value to people.
Yes, and you deliver so much value to everybody today, and I thank you so much, brother. We have to connect off of the podcast is over. I'll be reaching out to you.
Yes, please do.
Because I got some advice I need. but I mean, you were a blessing to me, and really, honestly, that's right. You gotta, we have to connect because there's something else you're supposed to do for me. And,
exactly.
Yeah. Okay. So
it's in my book. I got it.
Okay, good. And Sonia, she'll send you all the information for that as well. So you don't have to wait until that date to receive the information. I'll get it over to her today, between today and tomorrow, and she'll send it all over.
She'll send it out. Sounds good.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. Thank you so much, Dexter, for just being a blessing to everybody. And if you guys had some questions, y'all know my rules. I didn't have to tell y'all to ask questions. Y'all could have asked Dexter some questions. He would have got y'all together. So even if the podcast is over and you got some questions from Dexter, put them in the chat box. Or matter of fact, just go to his website, to Dexter B Jenkins, and you can ask. Wait a minute, I got to pull it up because where did it go? I ain't been typing it all. Here we go. So you guys can just go to his website and reach out to him, connect with him, hire him as a coach, whatever it is, because financials, that's not my lane, right? So you guys got to go to Dexter for that. Look, I got to go to Dexter for that. So you. You coming up though. That's right. I'm not going to stop. And that's what I'm saying. You was a blessing to me. You don't even realize mentally where I was at before the show started today. I had my own set of struggles mentally. And sometimes God send somebody in your life to give you that word, to show you that what you're doing, you're on the right path, and don't quit. Even though things seem tough, or, you know, not going as fast as you would like them to go, or growing as fast as you would like it to grow. Don't stop, don't give up, because it's that one person that I could be reaching or blessing or touching. If I give up, then I won't be there to reach that person, because that person needs that word. So that's the same with you and everybody else. If you guys are doing something and you're struggling and you're having a hard time, and you just like, the money ain't there, things ain't growing, I don't have billions of dollars coming in, I just want to give up and quit. I'm encouraging you guys, don't quit, because it's not your time to quit. If you just be persistent, have a little more discipline, have a whole lot more prayers.
That helps.
That's right, it helps, because he's going to send somebody your way that's going to open up a door that you didn't see coming open. So that means that if God tell you to go somewhere, go. So in other words, if he tell you go to the store, and you're like, I don't want to go to the store, go to the store, because it's probably going to be somebody at the store waiting on you, right? That's going to give you that blessing. Or perhaps somebody might call and say, let me invite you somewhere, and you feeling down and sad, I don't really want to go. But actually, if you get up and go, you don't even know what the blessing is going to be when you get there. Yeah. So I don't know. I felt the need to pour that out to somebody today. I had to pour it.
Well, Erica, what you're talking about is what I call divine connections.
Yeah.
That God connects us, divinely, and so we have to be willing to be directed in order to do that.
Yes, 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 yes. But thank you so much, Dexter. I really,
Thank
really
you.
appreciate you. And God bless you. And we would love to have you back again. And it's going to be a wonderful friendship. I'm looking forward to it.
Me as well. You have a good workout, and we'll talk to you soon.
All right. God bless you.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye. Yeah, that was wonderful. I hope you guys got a lot of today's podcast. You learned about financial literacy. You learned about being able to just do the right thing so that you can have generational wealth. And all the time, it's not easy doing the right thing because you have that money in your hand and you're saying, hey, I want to go buy a new blouse, or hey, I want to go do this. But if you take that money of a blouse that you really didn't need, because if you look in your closet, you got 30 other blouses, and you take that money that you would have used to buy that blouse and put it up somewhere and do something with it to make it grow, then when you look forward in the future, you will have enough money to buy 50 blouses, and that money won't, it just won't like burn a hole in your pocket, or it won't prevent you from paying your light bill or your gas bill. So the tools are there. I gave you guys the tools to find out the steps to financial literacy, to find out what you need to help grow your money about financial wealth. You guys can go to Dexter's website so that you can get that information. I'm not a finance coach, but I'm not a finance coach, but I like to bring on all the coaches here that can give you that information. So by Dexter being a financial coach that focuses on financial wealth, I just wanted to at least provide that tool for you all. And yes, Sheila, I saw you. Sheila says, I'm love to. Thank you, Sheila, because I love you and I appreciate your support. I appreciate the fact that you show up here every Friday and you share the podcast and you share my information. And because of you, it's many of you, but if I individualize every one person, you are one of the reasons why I get up every Friday and I come on this podcast, because there's something that I may deliver today that you need, that I didn't know you need, but I'm delivering it to you because it was put into me to be a blessing to deliver it to you and all of you. So thank you so much. She says she shared my podcast. What you say, Sonia? Never stop dreaming, never give up. Absolutely. And that is such a true statement, because as I was saying before, we're all going to struggle. We're all going to have hard times. It's going to be times where you just don't want to get out of bed. You don't want to put your clothes on because we working from home. You just don't want to do anything but just lay in a bed. But I'm saying to you guys today, if you peel the covers back and get up and just jump in the shower and say your prayers and start your day, whatever it is that you was meant to do in that day, whoever life that you were meant to touch in that day, you can now do it because you got out of bed. Don't let things stop you. Don't let the fact of growth not growing fast enough be a hindrance to you. See, we all got to take steps in life. And when you take step by step by step, you're learning something through your process. But if you start from this step and get all the way to the end, then you missed all the juicy stuff in the middle. That means the struggle, the hard times, to trying to figure out how you're going to make it when you can't, to figure out how you're going to make payroll for your staff when you don't know when it's going to come in. And see, when you learning stuff, when that money comes in, then you're not going to be quick to blow it all over the place, because you like, just last week, I didn't think I could make payroll, or I didn't think that I was going to eat. And so while you were in that meantime, see, Iyanla Vanzant had a book called In the Meantime. And what that means is while you're going through that meantime, what are you doing in that meantime? That means you're studying, you're learning, you're getting better. And as Dexter said, you are investing in yourself. So continue to invest in yourself as you go through your meantime, as you grow through your meantime. Because when you get to that place that you're trying to get to, you know, that entrepreneurship goal, or just being happy in life, the relationships goal, whatever that is for you, when you get there, you're going to look back and be like, dang, I did it. And you're going to be able to appreciate it even more than you did if you just rushed to the finish line. So take your time, you guys, invest in yourself, grow as much as you can. love on everybody that you can. Just be a blessing to everybody, because you just never know when it's going to come back to you. And so, Sheila, you needed that today. Me too, girl. Look, I'm talking to y'all, but I'm talking to me too. Sometimes I get on this podcast and and I'm always being transparent and truthful, because some of my truth and my reality comes out on this podcast. And so as long as I was a blessing to you and you got something out of it, that was great. And science says we serve limitless God. So stop putting limitations on God. That's right. Amen. Amen. Let the church say amen. All right, you guys. So what does that mean? We went over our time, but that's okay, y'all, because another one of my team members blessed me with something. So anyway, continue to be a blessing to all of those. I'm going to continue to show up on this podcast and be a blessing to all those that I could be a blessing to. And I'm not going to stop, and I don't want you guys to stop. So what did we say in the album? Never quit and never give up. So I am Erica Lynn, and thank you guys for watching Erica Lynn Speaks podcast. I'll see you guys next Friday, when live at 5. And I love you guys. And always remember to take one step beyond you. God bless you. And I will see you guys next week.
Are you ready to become unstoppable? Be bold, live free, and walk in your fearlessness? Are you ready to be courageous? If you are ready to play big and make your mark in life, if you are ready to break free, it is time for you to realize your full purpose in life by allowing Erica Lynn to help you break free from your boundaries. Break free beyond your limitations. Elevate your power. Play big while moving into your biggest step forward in your life. To find out how, go to ericalynnspeaks.com and sign up for the One Step Beyond You signature program today.
This podcast was brought to you by ericalynnspeaks.com. Sign up for your free consultation today at ericalynnspeaks.com/work with me. And just remember, it only takes just one step beyond
you. I say Erica Lynn Speaks.